Well, good day, all. I'm Epstein, and here we are with your Thursday evening stock, spider, and ETF wrap-up. And this is for October 10th, 2024. So in looking at the markets today, you can see that the stock indices were down. They've been on a tear to the upside, so there's nothing wrong with some profit taking in them. Energy markets were a mixed bag. Israel has still done nothing about Iran. We don't know what's going to happen. We know that yesterday, President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu talked. I'm sure it was an ice-cold talk. And we will see what's going to be. I'm not convinced Israel will do anything tomorrow because tomorrow begins the two-day holiday of Yom Kippur, the holiest of the holidays for those of the Jewish faith. It could, but it's unlikely. Could Israel be attacked on those days? There's history for it. You ever hear of the Yom Kippur War? It took place in the Sinai. Remember that one. So, yes, just because it's the religious holiday doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't stop Hezbollah or Hamas or the Houthis from firing their missiles at Israel in celebration. You never know. We take a look at some of the other markets. Uranium, I'm watching. I'm wondering if the market's not ready to give you a bit of a correction. It's had a nice rally here. NVIDIA on a tear at 134.81. Now, in just about an hour or two, the Tesla unveiling begins. It's a big night for Tesla. Is it a flop? A success. They're going to roll out their idea of the robo-taxi. They might roll out something with the new car that's coming down the road. They're supposed to give us an idea on something on the semis that are coming out. But this is the idea here is their technology for the cars, how it operates, which is very different than Waymo and the others that are doing things, and they're running it a whole different way. But remember, there's a lot of Teslas on the road. They all communicate back into servers in one way or the other. You can use that data, you can set it up. That's been Musk's idea. The more cars on the road, the more data, the easier the self-driving. And what is a self-driving car? Does it have a steering wheel? Does it have anything like that? How does it operate? I think tonight we get our look. It's either a failure or big success in terms of the reaction to it. I didn't say the product, in reaction. Tonight's going to be a very interesting night. Amazon, I hear that more people bought items than before. So that's a very good sign. Now, was the average sale up or down? I haven't seen all the figures. I do want to see that to get an idea. But the stock did rally on that news today a bit, so I think that's important. I talked about K-Web. You know, Saturday morning is going to determine what this does in terms of when the stock market reopens for them. You have an island top. That's when you have a gap between two numbers and then you gap underneath it. It's generally considered a bearish part. You don't get many of them on charts. Markets try to fill them in some manner. It doesn't have to. I think Saturday's what this is all about. You can see that the pattern's lower highs, lower lows. And by the way, you had an outside day up right here. You gapped it, and you just went crashing down. Now, the 18-day average is over here. That's normally the target. Okay, it's the closest main moving average. You've got the 200, the 100, so the other main average is right there. It's, you could also use a 50-day if you wanted on the chart. So I'm looking for that to close in, and we'll see where we're at. If you get on my morning subscriber videos, you see I add a few more moving averages to this. What about running the Bollinger Band? Well, you did, and then you stepped away from it, so this is your correction. How deep? I don't think it has a darn thing to do with anything other than what happened Saturday morning now. So be careful. That's like going through a major big league event. If it's a failure, 32.50. If it's success, it shouldn't get there. It should move up. But we do have a day of trading tomorrow in front of that. So 32.50 is still an important number. In Rivian, you can look at the Bollinger Bands. They're still embedded. So as long as they're embedded, the traders sell the rallies, which they did yesterday, and they're being rewarded today. CrowdStrike, up and over for the first time. The 200-day average, as you can see, in the 100. Can it hold that? It's going to be the big question. I don't think you're going back down to their lows of their problems. So now the question is, was that it? Did we see the correction? I don't know. Can't tell yet. Uranium, be careful. You tonight lost the bullish embedded reading. When you lose that, unless you get it back right away tomorrow morning, the odds favor you're going to fall down into these moving averages and try to find support there about $1 lower from where you're at. And if they closes under it, that's a real problem for the market. Linn, as I said yesterday, it's not paying attention to what else is going on. It is saying the gamblers are coming into Dubai, the gamblers are going into Macau, and that's what they're basing their outlook on. And they're probably right. I mean, if China's programs work and people feel better about things, the Chinese gambler will come back. And as you know, in the Middle East, Linn is now building a huge casino. Toll Brothers, still coming down, interest rates climbing. The mortgage rates today by Fannie Mae came out, and they were 20 basis points higher than they were a week ago. So we're seeing what's going on. You can't seem to crack that 6% magic number. These particular buyers from Toll Brothers, I'm not saying some don't get mortgages, but they're the wealthier buyer. So a lot of these are cash purchases, we'll see. But in the end, people like to use finance, and that is weighing on this market at this point in time. And certainly, building any home in Florida right now, that's going to get delayed. How long? We'll find out over the next 48 hours. Home builders slipped back into the lower Bollinger Band. If they're good, they should pop from here. So we're going to get a very good taste of what the market wants to do tomorrow. XLF, well, you're up at the upper Bollinger Band. Can you pop out of here and get something going? Right now, you're up to the upper level here, overbought at that. So it's sideways market, probably some profit taking place against the Bollinger Band. Sooner or later, as this band's so narrow now, it's either going to pop to the upside or downside. Tonight, the bias is with the bulls. In XLI, the industrial sector, it's holding on to that reading. So we hear things aren't good, the industry's slow. It's not. The market is still banking on it, and probably on that in part, because whether the Fed cuts in November or not truly doesn't matter. The sequence that the Fed's doing is not to go raising rates again. They're looking for reasons to cut. And whether you get another 25 or 50 basis points this year, doesn't matter. I'm not convinced it does, especially to the market. If it's acting good and it has good labor and it's got good productivity, and we continue to see the markets march along with that. In the gold market, you're fighting a battle at the 18-day average of closes. You've come down. You're not getting traction to the downside. You're not quite in oversold territory, but you're fighting a battle. I'm not convinced silver's going down here, but if it does, I think the market will be well supported. The futures did that. The futures went down to their key moving average and their lower Bollinger Band, and they have bounced away rather sharply, $1 an ounce. So you're getting that moves. Sometimes one chart's clearer than the other. The copper market, well, I think it's going to sit still. You can speculate which way it's going to go Saturday. Why do I say Saturday? When China gives us an idea what they're about to do. If they come out and they're doing infrastructure programs, they're throwing money right now, they give you an amount, they give you what the program is, copper will go up. If they don't convince the market of that, you could sink all the way back down. I don't want to play that game. BND, look at how you've just continually, this and TLT, gone down since the Fed cut 50 basis points. The yields have just climbed back up because the data is not supporting at this point really another cut. Don't get me wrong, the Fed may want to stay ahead of the curve and give you 25 basis points. But if they're just truly data dependent, you had a jobs report that was on fire. You had a CPI number just now that's, pointing upward, not downward. I don't know what the PPI tomorrow is going to show, but it'd be a hard argument, well, we've got to do it because of that. You want to get ahead of the curve, I understand that, but otherwise, I don't. So you put it all together, you look for a game plan, and I have one for you. You know, you see me every night talk about swing lines, moving averages, my version of slow stochastics, Bollinger Bands, window envelopes. I have a course that teaches you how to do all this. all on your own. You sit there, you plot it. It works in terms of you can apply all these indicators, and that's what I mean by it works. All these indicators to any chart. So if you got a bar chart, a candlestick chart, it doesn't matter. It follows what they're doing, the way we do it. 45 video chapters. Watch what I do. You do the same. Then join me during the whole time you're taking the course in my morning webinars. They're really recorded videos. And I teach you and I review what you're learning over and over and over. So it's IraEpstein.com under the word courses, or you can move your cursor up to the top here if you're on a PC. Give that a click and go with it from there. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. Hope you take this, and I'll catch up with you all tomorrow morning. Take care.